Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Want to make a quick video, just kind of a quick garden update, but also kind of wanted to theme this video around. This isn't typically, at all a prepper or survival kind of show, but there's a lot of prepper survival kind of channels out there. This is not one of those, but I just kind of want to touch some things, maybe think a little bit. I do enjoy kind of entertaining those thoughts sometimes and watching some of those videos, but I'm not in any way a prepper at all. I'd make a horrible one. But anyways, with this garden, first I want to show you real quick. I used, materials. You can spend a lot of money on gardens. And material-wise, I might have, gosh, $25 in this garden. Maybe 50. Pushing 50, but I'd say closer to 25. How is that possible? Well, I've got fencing here, I got fence posts, I've got gutters over there, barbed wire, wood, plumbing supplies. The most expensive thing I bought and spent money on was a sprinkler. And I think that was like $12. So everything else, 100% either had laying around, cut out of the woods, or bartered for. Like all the fencing, all the barbed wire. I did some work for someone and did some help remodeling a house, and they just gave me, free range to as much fencing as I needed, so that was pretty awesome. All the fence post I cut from the woods out there, and all the actual boxes, planter boxes, are from either logs that I cut, left them long, or pallet boards, whatever. I got some old pots that a nursery was throwing away, some cinder blocks, just different things like that. I mean, it's ugly, but like I said, some people just pour a whole lot of money into a garden and don't think about it, but I've got maybe $25, maybe $50 in this. Here's another example. Neighbor down the road had a bunch of leftover manure and compost and stuff, so I loaded up in a trailer and they offered to me free, but I'm going to end up probably getting them like a gift card or something like that. But just goes to show, when you make relationships and you have friendships and stuff with people, things pop up, and if you're resourceful enough, you can make do. So I started this garden maybe right after the last frost, and I thought I was playing it really close with the frost, but ended up I'm a little bit late. Let me kind of take you inside here and show you. First thing you'll notice is I have 9-foot tall fences to keep the deer out, so just kind of loosely strung up some barbed wire there, so it kind of looks like a prison camp. But first let me start with my beans. I planted these on March the 6th, and today is the 29th of April. You see I do have some little beans coming in. That one's actually pretty big, so maybe the camera will focus. There we go. So I do have those, and these are all staggered by a couple of weeks. That's why they're so close together. I planted in between the rows a couple weeks apart, so they kind of be stair-stepped a little bit. I mean, I've got potatoes over here in containers growing, tomatoes. I got lots of tomatoes, probably 20 tomato plants, maybe 30. I haven't really counted, so they're all at varying levels, varying stages. So I started them all by seed, and they're doing great. They love the heat. We were up to 90 degrees today, and it's only the end of April, so that's Florida for you. My lettuce is doing good, but lettuce is really hard to grow in Florida because you get like 2 days of spring and then it's summer. So this 90-degree temperature is going to make these things bolt real fast, so I need to hurry up and eat while I can. I've got squash growing in containers, some more tomatoes, potatoes in between the tomatoes, so lots of stuff going on. This is a gutter gardening system I'm kind of experimenting with. Someone was ripping these gutters off their house and throwing them away, so I figured I'd put them to good use. I do need to kind of shore that up over there and tie those up because they're kind of sagging over there real heavy with the dirt. But there is drip drainage holes along the bottom, so it drips down into the one below it, and then it drips down from there. So my son kind of came up with that idea. So I just ripped out all my turnips. I had a lot of turnips going, but I do have, this was full of turnips, but I do have some okra seedlings coming up, so I'm probably going to plant a couple more rows here in a couple weeks, but okra grows faster than what you can eat. So I do have squash plants, got a lot of onions, and then over here I've got my peas. As you can see, I've got tomato plants scattered all throughout here. These are just volunteer tomatoes that I used, like compost and stuff as soil. So these are just popping up, and I use all organic tomatoes, so these are going to put out fruit. And I figured I'd just let them grow here, and then just provide shade for you know, during the heat for all these onions and stuff and garlic that I have going on. And then I've got these peas. These peas are suffering in this heat, even though, you know, the internet told me to plant them now. They are climbing up the fence. And I've got a screen here. I'm kind of experimenting with some shade method, but a couple lettuce things here. What I did is I took all these cinder blocks and filled them up with compost. I'm going to put some okra in those. So I get lots of okra going. That's about the only thing I can get going right now. That and tomatoes in this heat. So, like I said, if you're a prepper, if you're a survivalist, I've got $25, maybe $50 worth of supplies in here. Like I said, the most expensive thing was that sprinkler right there. Everything else I bartered for. You know, another thing to think about too is this was a lot of work. Digging all these holes for these fence posts. You know, putting all these boxes in place. A lot of work. I burned a lot of calories and I sweat a lot. So, something to think about. You might want to go ahead and do something like this now and practice now versus if there was some kind of without rule of law kind of situation, as they say, and calories are fewer and far between. You might want to do something like this now, and then your learning curve would be a lot less steep, because I'm learning a lot just doing this, and I've gardened before. So I'm in a different part of Florida, so the soil's different here, the climate's different, the bugs are different, so everything's different. And I would suggest you go ahead and do stuff like this now, so when the time comes, you're kind of in less of a bind, right? So, something to think about. Barter, you never know what you find. If you just ask for it, you never know. You know, ask people, hey, can I get this and do some yard work, mow your lawn if you give me, you know, all that fencing you got right there, and they just might end up giving it to you. So, but I go ahead and mow their lawn for you anyways. So, alright, the thunder is picking up here, so I better let you go, but something to think about. I'll leave you all with that. If you have any suggestions, especially with shade with those peas, I might just get some more screen. I just found that screen laying around. Like I said, this is a garden on a budget. I'm on a fixed income because I'm in rental management, so very fixed income. So I have to kind of keep it cheap. These tomato steaks are cheap. So again, this will feed my family here. It's taken me, other than the turnips, I haven't pulled any food from this garden, and it's been 2 months, 2.5 months since I started it. So something to think about. If you're wanting to kind of survive off of a garden thing, you need at least, I would say, 6 months to a year worth of food that you can feed your family off of before you get any kind of food from a garden. And even when you start getting food from a garden, it's going to be kind of sparse, and it's not going to probably feed your family right away. So these beans are going to come in about a week from now, and I mean, if we didn't have any food stocked up or something like that, and we were kind of in a world without rule of law kind of thing, then we would just be eating beans, you know. And then we'd probably clean those out in like 2 days. So